Y'all gotta carpet your floors before you let them cloven-hooved news women romp around your house.
The Stool with Matt and Nick.
Remember us talking about us both having the problem last year and doing that where you just go into your house and you're just clapping in the fucking air and you can get flies like in every clap, but just,
constantly.
But to the point where you go out of your goddamn mind though. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were both having the problem for about a week, but mine. I'm not to say mine was as bad as yours, but yeah, I remember that pretty well last.
I was having
we're losing our minds, you goddamn flies.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I was losing my fucking mind to the point where like it got bad enough where like I was keeping a napkin over every beverage constantly. Unless it's like I was worried about getting roofied, but I was worried about getting like, because if I didn't, I'd have like a glass of wine or a glass of whiskey, and every time I'd go to reach for the glass to take a drink, there'd be like 4 dead flies in there.
Oh God, yeah, that's fucking awful. Yeah,
made me want to burn this building down. Now I just want to burn my vehicles down. Which
one of these days I'm gonna burn this place down.
Believe you have my stapler, but yeah, that red car, man. I guess we're rolling. I don't know. Welcome to the Loose Stool, everybody. I'm Matt, sitting here talking to Nick, and before I get into the rest of what I was talking about, I see you sipping on something over there. So what you got over there, buddy?
Well, you could have just finished what you were talking about, and then we could have got into this, you know? I mean, okay. We're getting all crazy here, but I'm doing something a little bit different. I told you before we started, you know, it's a beautiful Alaskan spring day here. The sun's out shining bright, and I was feeling the need for something a little bit lighter, a little more refreshing than the typical beer, and I never know what to buy, and these... I've always been kind of against the hard seltzers, but these truly hard seltzers with like a little bit of lemonade in them caught my eyes because it's like a little bit sweet, you know, but it still is more refreshing. It's not just like a Mike's Hard Lemonade sweet, you know, it's got a lot of seltzer in there. So very pleasantly surprised with these truly lemonade hard seltzers here. I had a lemonade flavor and I had a black cherry lemonade flavor, and both have been delicious, I must say.
Are they truly hard?
Yeah.
Are they really truly hard?
They're truly so hard. It's so hard. Oh my gosh, yep. But no, truly, they are hard seltzer. Truly. What are you having?
They are hard, and don't call me truly. I'm trying to relive my old venue days before the world fell apart, and I'm drinking that old Milwaukee. And,
I thought that's what it looked like. I almost asked you. Sorry, I almost jumped the gun because I saw the can before. Like, is that old Milwaukee? But I didn't want to ask too early, and it is. Wow. Yeah, hell yeah.
You can buy old Milwaukee outside of old Milwaukee, can't you? Probably.
Oh, yeah.
I have to think so. Otherwise, how do they stay in business? Yeah.
So a few years back, me and Bruno were actually at the liquor store, and we saw some old Milwaukee that was like crazy cheap. It was like $7 for a 12-pack. And like, holy shit, this is awesome. What a fucking deal. Turns out it was non-alcoholic. Still drank.
Oh, the same shit happened to me, dude. The same shit happened to me like 3 years ago. I was like, oh, yeah, like I was the same scenario. I was at the like grocery store or wherever it was. I'm like, oh, Old Milwaukee, great. Like, and I got it home, like, this tastes weird. And of course it was NA. And so when I bought this 30-pack that I got now, I like quadruple checked like all over the entire box. Like, granted, who sells a 30-pack of NA? Like, does anyone who drinks NA beer really need a 30?
That would be insane. It was a 30-pack of NA that you had bought on accident the first time?
No. No, it was
okay,
just
because I was going to say that would be
12-pack,
insane if
right.
they had those. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
right.
Who needs that? But
well, I find it
so
interesting
anyway, go ahead.
With the Heineken Zero. They're doing like just a real like, what's the word I want? I wanted to say hardcore, but I'm like, come on, man, you got better words than that. But they're doing like a huge. I should have better words than that too, but whatever. They're doing an ad campaign, and it's all about like, oh, you can be in your car, and like the cop pulls you over because he thinks you're drinking a beer, but then you show him, oh, it's Heineken Zero, and then they're like people at work, and they're like, you can't have a beer at work. Oh, it's Heineken Zero, and like I still think it's inappropriate. Like I like the idea that they're trying to say it's okay, and I wish that we could go that direction. But it just does not seem right to me.
No, that's pretty provocative, I guess. Like why would you want to, like, NA beer sucks in the first place, but like no one's sipping NA at work or in their car. Like that's what you order at the bar when you have to go to the bar and you don't drink anymore.
Or if you're like on probation or something, which when I was on probation, I would drink NA beer because, it was still nice. And there was actually, I found, and because I only drank it for a short amount of time, I don't remember the name anymore, but I actually did find a German NA beer that was pretty darn good. It had like St. Pauli Girl NA isn't that bad. There's a couple that are alright, but there was one that had like a very like German name, and that's how I'm like, I bet this might actually taste decent. But, pointless story, no payoff, don't remember what the hell it was called. But yeah, I don't think that whole Heineken Zero thing, like, they got an idea, but I think they're gonna be disappointed. Like, that shit's gonna be on the shelves for like maybe another month or two, and then like, oh, I guess people don't want to just drive around drinking NA beer.
It'll be on the shelves just as long as Bud Light Platinum was on the shelves until people figured out it gave you horrendous diarrhea.
Hey, man, PBR does that too, but they're still selling that shit like crazy.
Well, there's a reason I call Blat Splats as well. They all have their they all have their negative connotations. But yeah. As I was talking about my bullshit house, setting that on fire earlier before we started, and then, man, this whole, I mean, it's been an ongoing thing for a while that I've had all these car troubles, but I had to get my my brother's car that he technically gave me, but that's been sitting at my work for a few days, just leaking gas all over the parking lot. So speaking of setting shit on fire, it wouldn't be hard to do with that thing. But starter finally went out because we got a freak whiteout on April 21st, where I woke up like that's honestly like the worst way I've started a day in quite a while. It's just like I wake up, I see that it is snowing absolute blitzkrieg outside, and then I go out. That car is dead. The starter is completely fried. Go to try to start my truck and like maybe take that to work and worry about the wheel flying off on the way there. That shit won't start. Like, so ended up being like an hour and a half late, just pissed off all day. And luckily a friend of mine lent me his spare car for the past few days, and he's going to let me use it through the weekend. But this week has just been not particularly great. But how's yours been, man? I hope yours has been better than mine.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like, man, you just gotta bite the bullet and get yourself, like something reliable. I know you got thoughts on that or whatever. Now that we gotta talk, but like, yeah, that's a lot of trouble. What did make me laugh though, I gotta respond is like, your brother did that really awesome maneuver where he like did a nice thing by, oh, you can have this car, but he really just gave you like a fucking bill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it's not his fault. It's not his fault, of course. But it is just a funny thing. Like it's like, oh man, I can get a whole bunch of kudos, but like I don't want to fix this shit either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I think he kind of knew, and like I'm not trying to subtract from his good deed, but I called him a couple weeks ago. Because it went from leaking what he said was about a cup of gas a day to like a gallon of gas a day, and he called me up and I'm like, this shit's getting really bad, man. He's like, well, it's your car now. Cool.
Yep,
Thanks, bud.
There it is. Oh fuck. Yeah, I had a car that leaked a little bit of gas, but it was just like if you filled it up all the way, there was a little hole right at the top where like the nozzle goes into, so you get like a little bit of leak while it was filling up, and you just like had to not fill it up all the way and it'd be good. But it was only, and I don't know where yours is leaking from and if they actually need to like change the whole tank, but I want to say it was only like a $200 fix or something like that, so, but you gotta have a decent place.
Yeah, I mean, like, it sounds like yours was just a leak, like in the, whatever you call the spout that goes from where you fill it to the tank, where like, this thing has, I think a couple major enough holes that are, I would have to assume, like, either right on the side close to the bottom or directly on the bottom of the gas tank where there's just no hope for it. Like I'd have to replace the whole thing, and that's not something I'm looking to do.
It's still though, I mean, I don't think a gas tank's super expensive. No, we don't need to go down that hole. Like, we don't need to discuss what we think prices are. That's pretty boring shit. But I would get it looked at if you think it's better than your truck and you need something to drive. Like, I mean, I would obviously buy like a new vehicle in general, but it might be one of those things where you think it's more expensive, than it is. And, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've done that in my life where I like fucking put something off, like, oh fuck, I don't want to deal with this. I don't have the money for it. And then I finally bite the bullet, make a couple phone calls, and it's like, oh Jesus, I should have done that like fucking 2 months ago. You know what I mean? Mm. So that's my little bit of life advice there in the middle of it. But you did ask how my week's going, and it's been average. It's been good with work, but nothing too exciting. I've been having fun watching basketball games online on a completely free streaming, or I didn't mean to say free. I wanted to go completely legal streaming website for free, 100% legal, nothing illegal about it at all. And that's been the highlight of my night, has been being in some of the chats that go alongside these basketball games, because there's just really like funny like Homer people that are just like love their team. Like Celtics fans are really fucking hilarious. Lakers fans, like none of them. Everybody's irrational, and that's been pretty fun. But really, that's seriously been the highlight of my week. Just like watching some basketball games at the end of the night and participating in some just dumb chats, like making people feel bad about their teams, like, oh, you suck. You wouldn't have got this guy if you. It's a good time, So, yeah. So yeah, that's been my week. One interesting thing this week, though, or not interesting. Well, I suppose it's interesting, but the whole world's eyes been on it. I was quite pleased to see that the Derek Chauvin trial turned out as it should have. And that was a nice bit of relief. I saw the news like right before the verdict was coming in that it was about to happen, and I was able to catch it happening live. And it's the thing about that is it's just so sad how it was so obvious that, and I'm not saying anything that a bunch of other people haven't said, but it was so obvious that George Floyd was murdered. and you're still sitting there, holding your breath, wondering if he's actually going to get convicted. If Chauvin's actually going to get convicted. And that's, that was my biggest takeaway from it is, that is really fucked up. That, it's